Let's talk about the specific systems we're going to be using on our 6.0 liter Power Stroke. We're going to talk about the direct injection, the HEUI Generation 2. It's the hydraulic injector. We'll go into detail later. We're going to talk about the variable geometry turbocharger and the EGR system. Those are the three main systems we're going to hit as we go into other things. But first, let me tell you some things about revisions and other pieces of housekeeping we need to take care of. We've got to take time to tell you a few things before we get too deeply involved in the 6.0, particularly in its early years. The 6.0 was a work in progress. There were numerous changes, and sometimes we have to look at the version that was manufactured. We're going to talk about an example. In 2003 and 2004, we had an A and a B version manufactured. A number of parts changed as the versions changed. For example, the A versions had a round EGR cooler, while the B versions had a square cooler. Now we're going to talk about how we get this version, and we're going to be using the VIN number to be sure of that. The 8th digit, the P, tells us it's a 6.0. Going beyond that, we've got to get down into the details. The 4 tells us it's a 2004 model year. Then the E tells us it was manufactured in Kentucky, and the A says it's the A version, which uses a different type EGR cooler than the B version. But there are other parts change as well. We need to be aware of those things. Here, example, is a potential problem for the glow plugs. The different sizes vary by VIN number. So when you order 2003, 2004 parts, you might want to be sure that you have the right thing. Now, another thing about parts, we're told by a lot of our fleets that the international dealers have the similar parts cheaper than the Ford dealer does, and they're the same part. The last thing we got to talk about is assessing the engine for repair. If you're going to remove the heads or anything else, most people tell us it's viable to lift the body off. It takes about 3 hours to remove it and put it back in place. There's some work involved, but they say when you do any major work on the engine, this is the only way to do it. We saw this repeatedly as we go from shop to shop. We even have some situations where we see things like dump trucks. They have to do a little extra work, but they still do it. Now, those of you working on the E-Series, we're sorry. We have no quick solutions for you. But we do have some things like blue-collar engineering. Blue-collar engineering here says that you can use a good shade tree as long as you have some good 55-gallon barrels that aren't rusted out too bad as holding points. But the point we're making here is you're going to be doing things differently. We thought you needed a good chuckle at this point. We could not resist showing this to you. Let's get back to talking about the 6.0 liter and getting some details now.